We have a segment here at Comics and Comics where we, meaning me, give an opinion about something, and if you've ever read any fanboy post on any message board anywhere, you understand why we call this segment But Let's Face It. James Cameron's Avatar has become the highest grossing movie of all time. Over the years, movies have been making an increasingly higher percentage of their overall grosses in the first weekend. And yet, Avatar keeps holding on. The film has legs. Long, skinny, blue legs. It's not a horrible movie. But let's face it, the extent to which people love Avatar is ludicrous. Maybe you haven't heard of it yet, but there's a condition out there called Avatar Blues, where people leave the theater depressed that Pandora isn't real. Allow me to read some posts from message boards. When I woke up this morning after watching Avatar for the first time yesterday, the world seemed gray. It was like my whole life, everything I've done and worked for, lost its meaning. It just seems so meaningless. I still don't see any reason to keep doing things at all. I live in a dying world. All that I've been doing as of late is searching the internet for more info about Avatar. I guess that helps, but it's so hard. I can't force myself to think that it's just a movie and to get over it, that living like the Na'vi will never happen. Speaking as someone who has gone to Star Trek and comic book conventions since I was about 8, and someone who's dressed up in wizard costumes for live action role-playing, allow me to say to these people, get a life. And it gets worse. There's a growing contingent of female fans across the globe who are saying that the Na'vi are hot. You know, I never thought that screaming Twilight tweens would seem less pathetic than anyone, but at least Robert Pattinson is a real guy who could actually sleep with you and not a character rig on a 3D Max program. Ladies, when you start getting turned on by well-rendered cartoons, making fun of anime perverts who are into hentai, that gets taken off the table. Because you're just as much of a loser as these otaku. Whether you realize it or not, you are actually giving dignity to guys who masturbate to computer-generated busty schoolgirls. So for that, Avatar fans, I thank you. The plot of the movie is that Earthlings have arrived on Pandora to mine the mineral unobtainium, and they don't care what happens to the native Na'vi that are there. I don't know if anyone has read the original 400-page version of the screenplay, but it was actually much more diabolical than that, because the humans were wiping out the Na'vi even though scientists had figured out a way to manufacture unobtainium artificially. The process was that you'd start out with the much more plentiful mineral, lazy screenwriting ilium, then put that in a plot device chamber and bathe it in MacGuffinite. In watching the movie, some people might wonder why the incredibly insubordinate Michelle Rodriguez character wasn't thrown in prison after bailing on the attack of the big tree. I'll tell you why, because a character was needed to break the slightly less insubordinate characters out of prison. It's so sad to me because James Cameron used to be a great screenwriter. When Reese is being interrogated by Dr. Silberman and is forced to explain how time travel and the Terminators work, that is incredible, almost invisible exposition. And when I watch Avatar and see important plot points baldly explained in video logs, my heart breaks. I know people are going to say that I'm nitpicking, that I'm just a geek with an attitude, and that the movie's a huge hit, so what do I know? Well, here's what I know, and it's important to remember because this is something that is not said nearly enough in Hollywood. You can argue with success. Yes, the movie's a hit. You know what else was a hit? The opera Armida in 1771. And I make the comparison because, let's face it, James Cameron is a Mozart who's turned himself into Salieri.